Second part of the Cascade tutorial. Let's zoom in a little bit. I've got everything traced here. Make sure you're working with the advanced toolbar. And I'm just going to check my layers here really quickly. Turn off that bottom layer and the top layer. I have the bottom one locked. And you can see I've chased the whole thing. I just have a 1-point stroke on it right now. So a couple ways I could select this. Now I have that bottom layer locked, so nothing on that bottom layer is going to be selected. If yours keeps selecting a lot of, the back placed image, it's because that is not locked there on that layer. So I have the top layer selected, and there's a couple ways to select this whole thing. I'm going to go to the full selection tool. Now I could, there's not a lot in this document. If you had multiple layered documents, this would not be so easy. I could easily drag that full selection tool from one side to the other and get them all, right? We learned earlier that you can hold down Shift to select more than one item. That takes a little bit longer. The other way I could select all of this is to go to Select All. That is Command A. That is a command key I use a lot. Command A for select all. So I can also use that Command A. Now I've selected everything, but not that bottom layer. It is locked. Now what we're going to do is we're going to give this document a stroke. So you can do that by going into the window and pull up your stroke windows. If you have a menu up here, you can do it there as well. You can pick the stroke there. This one tends to have a little more information here. So we're going to give it a 4-point stroke. See, it's much thicker, so if you have a fill on there, you want a fill of none and a color for that stroke. You don't want a black stroke so we can see your work. Now that I have stroked it, it's just an outline, well, not a true outline. It's just, it's thicker, but I want to put an outline on it. So I've got it all selected, and I'm going to go to Object, Path, Outline Stroke. Now you have to do this part. This is crucial to doing this right here. Object, Path, Outline Stroke while everything is selected before I move on to the next part, which is the Pathfinder. It cannot pathfind a stroke. So I'm going to go to Object, Path, Outline Stroke, and that outlines that stroke. These are shapes. I can no longer fix them as easily. They're outlined on both sides. So, it's much more difficult to edit them. So it's much easier if you've got some mistakes to fix those kinks, if you have some little points that are out of line before you outline that stroke and make this a shape. Now that this is a shape, you'll notice it made these crossbars because they're not part of it, right? We made them separately. They're a separate shape from here. I'm going to just turn these a different color so you can see the magic that happens here. I'm just going to turn these to blue for a little bit. And they do need to go outside, they can't, it's not going to work if they're not touching. So make sure, if you need to pull them a little bit by their bounding box, you can do that. So now I'm going to select everything again. So I'm going to go to Select All, and I'm going to pull open under Window the Pathfinder. All right, I don't need the other ones right now. These are really helpful, especially the align, but right now we're just using Pathfinder. And the very first one, if you hover over it, that is Unite. We want to unite all of this. And when I click Unite, watch these blue crossbars here on the A, it's all gonna become one image. It'll all become green. I'm gonna zoom in. I'm gonna hit Command Z so you can see it happening again. See how that just became one shape? So we made one shape. This is very much the way that you will make logos. And I'm going to turn off that bottom layer and you can see what it looks like. Now we're going to save this file. Save as. We're going to call it Cascade _ your name. You're going to save it as an AI file because we're going to turn it in and I got to grade it. So make sure it is completely done all the steps here. And put it in your final tutorials folder. Make sure you save it.